All right, so the video notes that we have for today is about our pig dissection, and it's going to be about anatomical position. So on the back of your packet, it should be blank. I'd like you to please write down, I can describe the different anatomical positions of an organism. So diving into those different anatomical positions, it'll help us with understanding the different positions and of placements of organs in the body. And so the first position is dorsal, the word dorsal. And dorsal is referring to, on if you were looking at an organism that stands up like a human or penguin, it's towards the backbone area, towards the back portion of their body. And if you were looking at a horse or let's say a pig, the dorsal would be towards their back up above right here in this spot right here. And then there's also ventral. Ventral is towards the belly side. If you think of their lower abdomen component, if you're looking at something standing up like a penguin or person, this is where the ventral side is. But if you would look like on a mice or a horse or a pig, like we're dissecting, ventral would be the belly side underneath right here. All right, posterior. Posterior is referring to the rear end or caudal end of the organism. And so if you look at posterior in a pig, posterior is going to be this whole back side of the organism. If a human or penguin standing up, posterior would be the entire back side. Anterior is towards the front or head. And so for a pig or a dog, anterior is the whole head front. But if you see a person standing up, the whole anterior is the front side of the body. Cranial is referring to the head zone, so the cranial or the crane or the skull, so that's the head area in both positions of an organism standing. And then caudal is referring to the tail, part of the organism, the tail, backbone, the tailbone, things like that is the area where the caudal is. Then if you look at medial, when we say medial, we're looking straight down the middle line of the organism, the middle components of the organism. Lateral is looking at the side. So if you were saying like lats for muscles, that's looking at the side. So if you're looking at the side of the organism, that's what lateral means. And then when we're looking at limbs, we determined that there is two words, proximal and distal. Proximal is talking about the point where the limb is beginning to come off of the body. It's the origin where the limb is attached to the body. And then distal is referring to the end or the actual limb itself. So towards the end of the actual limb itself, that is the distal range. And so if you look at penguins, fin, this is the proximal, this is the distal. If you look at a horse's leg, the proximal is right here where the limb is attached, and then the distal would be down the whole limb itself. All right, so when you come for a lab on dissection, I want to remind you to please not bring any food or drink into the classroom and absolutely no gum during dissection. Please make sure you read all instructions before doing any dissection. Please do not wear any open-toed shoes, no flip-flops, no sandals. Please wear tennis shoes so that we are safe in case the scissors or scalpels decides to accidentally fall on the floor. Please make sure you don't cut anything unless instructed to, and always follow your dissection guide for our dissection coming. So please be ready to be prepared for our dissection.